country of South Korea, once a place of destitution and sorrows in the late 1950s after the Korean War left the peninsula in turmoil, has now become a thriving metropolis that actively participates in world politics and economics. As with any country though, South Korea has its own troubles still plaguing everyday life. One such problem we will be focusing on today is that of the elderly and their harsh living conditions.
Well, Korea has a very poor social safety net. So the traditional social safety, social security system in Korea was you have children, and of course your children take care of you, specifically your son, and generally that's going to be the eldest son. So the eldest son is going to get the family home and all of that kind of stuff. In exchange for getting the family home, mom and dad are going to continue to live there until they die. But now we have all of this urbanization, everybody moving into apartments. We have the increase in nuclear families. And we have this whole cultural shift where these old people don't necessarily want to live with their son and his wife and, the grandkids, even if the son wants them to. And a lot of times the son doesn't.
Due in part to a lack of proper social security, the global economic downturn, the low birth rate, and children losing their sense of responsibility for their parents, nearly half of the South Korean elderly population live in relative poverty. Many men and women past the age of 60 must resort to odd jobs in order to make ends meet.
The system is still very, very broken, practically non-existent for many people. If people are getting a pension when they're past retirement age, they may be getting around $200 a month. And how do you live on that? So if you're an old woman, you might be selling socks on the sidewalk, or sweet potatoes, or you might be cooking some tteokbokki, because even if you're getting $200 a month from the government, it's still not enough. Even if you own the house that you're living in, it's still not enough. Being an old person in this country today has become so difficult that Korea has another number one in elderly suicide in the world. You realize Korea's number one in elderly poverty? Worst in the world. 42% of the elderly people in Korea live below the poverty line. If they're single, it goes up to 76.
Honest, at this point, I'm quite desensitized, so I don't really feel anything anymore whenever I'm seeing people selling off of street. But once I got asked about how I feel about it, I guess I feel kind of bad, because I know their working condition is way worse than the legally provided condition, and they seem like they don't have a lot of choices. So that's what makes me feel bad the most, I think. People over 65 or even 70s work in such harsh conditions. We are quite desensitized of it, and we don't really get to see them as human beings either. I do think many of people will agree that we need to do something. We need to come up with some idea to give them a better working condition, possibly better job, just new job, not street seller. There's no concept of retirement in Korea. The thing is, it's really, it doesn't really exist as far as I know. There are people who want to retire. There are people who want to have plans after retirement, but it's not like everybody's thinking about it. Everybody is ready for process the whole idea. Those who sell stuff on the street, they have no idea what retirement is. That's the reason why they still work. They do that because they have to make their own living. But if you dial the time back, if they had an idea of retirement before 10, 15 years ago, they would have get ready for it. But because they didn't know what retirement is, or they couldn't afford the idea of retirement, they just have to keep working in such a poor condition. The problem with Korean social welfare system in like legal and system way, if you have anybody under your name, you cannot get the funds or aid, like monetary aid from the government. So even though you are not taking care of anybody else, you're not getting any help from the government as well, only because you have like some names under your name on the legal document. That's another problem, and it has been pointed out that need to be changed for so many times, like such a long time, but nothing has changed.